Welcome back to the Cossy Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Welcome back to a brand new video. This is the latest Arsenal news and transfer news as well. Arsenal interested in signing Simon Adingra. According to reports, Arsenal are monitoring the situation of Simon Adingra at Brighton in order to sign him this summer. Now, we are looking for a winger, although we don't have a lot of time, but a winger is one of the priorities Arsenal could get done this summer. We are also looking at other wingers, including Kingsley Coman, who could come in on loan. Also, Federico Chiesa, who's still available at around 20 million euros. But Simon Adingra is a very interesting profile in terms of what Arsenal have been doing, like signing young players between 20 years and 24. He's only 22. But also, we are talking about a player who's comfortable on the left-hand side of the pitch and the right-hand side of the pitch as well. And I've just said on my thumbnail that he's better than Gabriel Martinelli, and I believe that, and I really, really mean that. For me, when I look at Simon Adingra and what we saw last campaign, he might be a little bit higher than Gabriel Martinelli in my ranking. But of course, let me know in the comment box below. Would you love to see Simon Adingra? I'm going to put him in my fantasy Premier League team. I mean, that's a tip. You could put him in yours too. Let's get into it. We're going to be diving into the profile and the rumors around the player, and also ask the question and answer it. Will it be a good deal for Arsenal? So rumors started circulating around 21 hours ago that Arsenal were monitoring the situation of Simon Adingra as one of the wingers that we were interested in, or we are interested in to sign this summer. This comes in after Arsenal missed out on Pedro Neto, obviously, and Nico Williams, who has been given the shirt number 10 at Atletico Bilbao. So the two priorities in terms of a winger, Arsenal looked at Pedro Neto, but he also looked at Nico Williams. After that, Arsenal have to look elsewhere. We didn't get Nico Williams. We didn't get Pedro Neto. We have to look at other options. And those include Simon Adingra. They include Leroy Sané. They include Kingsley Coman and Federico Chiesa. But Simon Adingra is the one that I think Arsenal will have done a very good deal if we actually brought him in. So is the interest real? I cannot really say that Arsenal are 100% going to invest a lot of time on the deal, but I can say that the interest is real. When you look at the profile of players we've been trying to sign, Simon Adingra is actually not very far away. Arsenal tried to sign Rafinha, then we tried to sign Nico Williams, then we tried to sign Pedro Neto. When you look at those players, one of the things they have in common is they're very comfortable on the left-hand side, but also on the right wing as well. And I think what Mikel Arteta is looking to do is to sign players, to sign young wingers that have the ability to play across the forward line, because it wouldn't make sense for us to sign one player just to cover for Bukayo Saka. Saka doesn't get injured a lot of the time. He plays a lot of minutes for Arsenal. So investing around 40 to 45 million in a player just to sit on the bench and watch Saka, that wouldn't make any sense. So I think what Mikel is looking at is, as Trossard gets older, as Gabriel Martinelli is still young, Saka is still young, but Trossard is getting older and older. And Reece Nelson could leave Arsenal any point in time. So what if we sign a young winger that can get enough minutes by sharing with Saka, but also most importantly, sharing with Gabriel Martinelli? Now, with Simon Adingra, obviously, he's got that ability to throw out Gabriel Martinelli or even Leandro Trossard in the starting 11. He's quick, he's explosive, he's a goal scorer, creates a lot of chances, and he's got that Premier League experience. So don't be surprised if Arsenal sign him, and at some point in time, he becomes a very important player in this squad. Now, in terms of where the deal is, it is so far away. It is about just monitoring. We have not had any contact on player side. We have not had any contact on the, between clubs, between Brighton and Arsenal. So it's still very far away. It's not an advanced deal. It's just about Arsenal looking at him as one of the targets we want to bring in among the wingers. Now, why Simon Adingra? What is his profile? What would he bring? And how could Arsenal set up and benefit from such a deal? And Brighton, would they sell anyway? So why Simon Adingra? I think Mikel Arteta, as manager, is so good at spotting and working with wingers. Now, we've been told that during Leroy Sané's peak at Manchester City, that was courtesy of Mikel Arteta. We have also been told that during Raheem Sterling's peak at Man City, that was courtesy of Mikel Arteta. And therefore, Simon Adingra has got elements of a Raheem Sterling. I mean, listen, guys, you've seen him, you've watched him, You know what I'm talking about. He was absolutely very, very crucial for Ivory Coast during the AFCON that they won, but also most importantly for Brighton last season when they didn't have Karo Mitoma. So for me, with Simon Adingra, I'm looking at a guy that has got the ability to replicate what Raheem Sterling did at Manchester City. And I think that's what Mikel Arteta has been hoping and trying to recreate with Gabriel Martinelli. Because when you look at Gabriel Martinelli, he's getting a lot of chances on goal. He's getting a lot of chances to run through, 1v1 with defenders and, get those goal scoring opportunities. I don't think that is a coincidence. I don't think that is because Martinelli is so good. That is because Mikel Arteta is setting up to play in such a way and get those opportunities. And I've already said that Gabriel Martinelli is no longer recognizable to me the way he was recognizable 1 season ago or 2 seasons ago. I kind of feel like he's dropped off as a player. So looking at Pedro Neto and looking at Nico Williams and looking at Simon Adingra, these are wingers that can score goals, these are wingers that can create chances, and these are wingers with top speed. I don't think Arsenal be linked with a winger that is not top speed. Maybe Rafinha, that was way back in 2022 when we were linked with Rafinha and we tried to sign him. I think Rafinha is the only winger that I've not seen trying to use explosive speed to beat players. I think his game is about a little bit of technique, crossing into from half spaces and dead ball situations. But the other wingers we've wanted, the other wingers we've tried to sign, they're top speed wingers, clinical finishers, and deadly creators as well. And that is Simon Adingra. So it is no surprise to me that Mikel Arteta has gone and said, this boy can do for me a Raheem Sterling. This boy can be my Raheem Sterling. He can be my Leroy Sané. He can go and do very, very well. So again, we know that Mikel Arteta loves to play, his cards very, very smartly, especially by signing players from the Premier League. The evidence is already there in Declan Rice, in Ben White, in David Raya, and a couple of other players, Kai Havertz as well. Mikel loves to sign players from the Premier League. We tried to sign Rafinha as a Premier League winger. We tried to sign Pedro Neto as a Premier League winger as well. And that tells you that the manager would prefer a player who has already adapted to Premier League defenses as compared to a player coming outside. Now, listen, this summer, Nico Williams definitely has been up there, but also Pedro Neto has been up there as well. And that tells you that Mikel is looking at it in 2 ways. If I can get Nico Williams outside the Premier League, the way I got Calafiori, the way I got Martin Odegaard, that's okay. I can make them adapt to the game and make them, invisible. But if I can get an already made profile, an already made player from the Premier League, he's already adapted, I'm actually going to do that and use the cheat code. So Simon Adingra, again, I think Mikel is looking at him as another addition that would come into this Arsenal side from the Premier League. It wouldn't take him a lot of time to develop to adapt to the culture. It wouldn't take him a lot of time to adapt to the Premier League. It's just about adapting to Arsenal, adapting to that jump from Brighton to a big club like Arsenal, and then probably adapting to the patterns, the complicated patterns in which Arsenal play. Apart from that, Adingra would be a very good Premier League experience to add to our side. So again, I'm not shocked that Simon Adingra is wanted. But why I think that he's a very delicate player for Arsenal and Mikel Arteta, it is his versatility. And I've talked about him to playing on the right and playing on the left. I think Mikel loves versatile players. And this is one reason why Gabriel Jesus, Alexander Zinchenko are darlings for Mikel Arteta. Declan Rice as well, Martin Odegaard as well, Kai Havertz as well. They're darlings for Mikel Arteta. When you look at Arsenal's team, apart from David Raya, there is no other player that only plays in one position. Tell me who. Ben White plays at centre back and right back. Timber plays at right back, centre back and left back. Calafiori plays at centre back and left back. Saliba plays at left centre back and right centre back and also play at right back. Gabriel plays across the back line as well. Kivio plays across the back line. And when you think about the likes of maybe Thomas Partey Partey is the one we would say, if you don't play him in the 6, you might actually struggle to find somewhere else to play him. But apart from Partey and apart from David Raya, every other player at Arsenal is versatile. And I think with Mikel Arteta, what he's trying to do there is he's trying to create a team that can play different patterns within a similar game, within the same game, and win. And win. If we play a 4-3-3 and we are blocked, can we change it up into a 4-2-3-1 with the same players? Can we change it up to play a 3-4-3? Can we change it up to play a 3-5-2 with the same players? So with Simon Adingra, does he remind you? I'm just asking. Does he remind you of Mohamed Kudus? Because for me, this boy absolutely does. And last summer, we were told that Arsenal were close, this close. Imagine Arsenal failed to sign Mohamed Kudus because we had brought in Kai Havertz. It pains me. It really, really pains me. And I'm not saying Kai is a bad player. I'm not saying I don't want him at Arsenal. I'm saying, why didn't we do Mohamed Kudus first and then fail to do the Kai Havertz deal? Honestly. So, last summer, Arsenal were very close to signing Mohamed Kudus. However, Ajax were not willing to give us the deal we wanted. The deal Arsenal wanted was, can we get him on loan initially and then pay later? Ajax didn't want that, and of course, West Ham were already set and ready to pay the money that Ajax wanted, and therefore we missed out on Mohamed Kudus. So if we are going to sign another player to take on the roles of Mohamed Kudus, they've got to be just like Mohamed Kudus. And what does Mohamed Kudus do? His numbers will tell you that he predominantly plays as a left winger. He plays fantastically as an inverted right winger, but also he plays very well through the 10, through the middle. And I think Simon Adingra might not be he might not be as versatile as Kudus, because Kudus is so talented. But I think with Adingra, he just allows Mikel Arteta options on that front line. He just allows him to rest anyone. He just allows him to switch it up whenever he wants to. So again, that versatility in his profile is something that Mikel would love. Now, in terms of the deal, I've got to warn everyone watching this video, this is a bombastically difficult deal. Like, this would be a boomerang if Arsenal tried to, get it done, in a very, very shady way. It could be a boomerang. It could be one where you try to sign him, but it doesn't happen eventually. And why is that? Brighton negotiation, they are the best negotiators in the Premier League. They will sell you a 1 million flask at 100 million, and they will convince you this 100 million flask is going to, I don't know, it's a flask of life. I mean, Caicedo and Chelsea, do I need to tell you the story? No. So, with Brighton being that difficult, it's not a deal that Arsenal should go into 100%. We should be there. We should get in there. We should try to negotiate with them. But if it doesn't work out, then it would be absolutely okay. So, but why I think that the Simon Adingra deal is not that bad also is this. When have Brighton ever said, we are not selling? The Moises Caicedo deal to Arsenal failed because at some point in time, right? At some point in time, Arsenal banned some bridges. And we were like, we want to sign him in January for 80 million. And Brighton said, do not even come back here in the summer. We are not going to give you Moises Caicedo. But if Arsenal had been patient until the summer, Moises Caicedo would have been an Arsenal player. So what I'm trying to say is that Brighton always sell. Brighton are always open to selling. And if you go in with the right mentality, right offer, we might get a deal, upgrade for Simon Adingra. Now, of course, it could be at the end of the transfer summer. It could take some time, probably 30th of August, 31st of August, but I could see it happen. I mean, you're Brighton. You have signed Yankuba Mite. You have Solly March. You have Karim Mitoma coming back. You have a couple of other youngsters. Of course, we know they do have those youngsters. cashing in on Simeon Adingra could be a good thing rather than a bad thing. Actually, ideally, if Arsenal are willing to splash around 45 million, that would be a very good deal for a player who's only played for them in one campaign. So it's going to be about the willingness of Brighton to sell, the willingness of the player to move, right? And also Arsenal's seriousness. At times we've tried to do deals, and we know, if you ask me, on some deals we've not been serious. Not at all. So how do we set up with them? I think Simeon Adingra coming in doesn't change the way Arsenal set up. It's just about personnel. It's just change of personnel. You take off Saka, you bring in Simeon Adingra. You take off Gabriel Martinelli, you bring on Simeon Adingra. But he's a player that I can say at some point in time he might start over Martinelli. I don't want to say that. I don't want to say that because people in the comment section are going to be, Cossy, you hate Martinelli. Cossy, you've turned against Martinelli. Martinelli is my boy. I want him to start this season. I want him to start strong. But if Simeon Adingra came in and did a good job, boy, oh boy, I could be jumping on that train. I would be jumping on the Adingra train like I've never before. But let me know in the comment box below, Simeon Adingra, is it a good signing? Is it a smart deal? I want to know your thoughts there.